There we go. Now you can hear me. My bad. All right. So welcome to the 𝐃𝐢𝐬𝐼𝐻𝐻 crypto and Bitcoin trading show, where sometimes your content creator puts on his microphone so you can hear him properly. Yeah, thank you. Somebody can't hear, can't hear and can't hear. Anyway, I freshened up my computer and restarted it before the live stream, so the memory gets refreshed and it turns off the microphone. Sorry, forgot I had to click a little button. But what we're going to do here is, again, we start these shows every Tuesday and Thursday, 10:30 a.m. Typically, my microphone will be on when I start, and you won't just see me going like that. So Tuesdays, Thursdays, New York time, 10:30 a.m. I believe Berlin time, that is 4:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. UK time. And what we're going to do here to start off this this stream, even though the video that I uploaded today, that's not a live show, the one with a very interesting thumbnail, your TA sucks, right? That one, you should watch that after this live stream ends if you haven't watched it. It helps folks understand that you can be both bullish and bearish at the same time justifiably, but on different time frames, and how to, I guess, understand and interpret TA better from YouTube. But anyway, at the end of that, I do go over a similar analysis, which I'm going to start the stream off. So let's jump in and let's see some of these overhead obstacles that Bitcoin has, and let's dive right in. And then I'll start taking questions a little bit after I take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then I'll start looking at questions. And the channel members, so members of the YouTube channel, I can see emblems next to your questions. And I typically will take priority over those and the super chats over other questions. All right, and just depending on how many people are on the stream, if there simply aren't that many questions because of the time of day or whatever, then I'm not just going to ignore your question because you're not within the YouTube tier or you don't send a super chat. So, but those are the orders. I want you to understand the order of priority that I take the questions. Should that become an issue? All right, let's dive in. Move this guy over a little bit. I posted on Twitter the other day, I think yesterday, and it's got a pretty good summary of this. I'm going to go to, I want you to first zoom out with me and see that there is a macro range here. This is the macro range dating back a whole year. Macro meaning it goes back a long time. This is last year, okay, over 12 months ago back here. I want my arrows to be pink. All right, and we're going to be focusing on the overhead resistance of this half point of control. So the Elon Musk tweet, the Elon Musk tweet was involved around this time here. So the halfway point of this tilted range and the quarter point have something to do with that time in crypto history when Elon Musk was tweeting about Bitcoin before he got all wishy-washy and talking about the environment before he understood Bitcoin's impact on the environment. This area back here was that moment in time, and you could see how important that the top of this candle structure is in defining the top end of this range, and that's going to come into importance here. After the Wyckoff, I guess, coordinated drop of Bitcoin while the stock market went up, the low of the third or fourth low here of July 20th, you had a nice pump that went directly to the bottom of this halfway channel. So that one single pump helps define the bottom of this, let's call this the point of control. So all of this right here is the tilted range point of control. Elon Musk stuff helps define the top. The pump off of the Wyckoff lows helps define the bottom. And let's put price back on. We're going to focus on those two areas first. I'm going to go down to the 1 hour chart. And again, this is the point of control. So Elon Musk up here, and then the pump off of the Wyckoff lows at this at that juncture, at the bottom one. Now, to add to that, I'm going to put on the monthly 10, which I will make white this time, but I'll make it a thick line so we can see it really well. And we'll zoom way in here. That's the monthly 10 EMA, and I'll also throw on the weekly 10. Okay, now we have four different things. Let's take off price. We have weekly 10, monthly 10, which are Big Daddy, Kahuna, like they're some of the most important EMAs in all of crypto. Then we have Elon Musk, and then we have, Wyckoff, like, cartel, Bitcoin cartel thieves line type of deal, or the bounce from there. 4 important lines here. And let's look at where price is. Currently, price is getting, and I guess I can go ahead and label these. I'll just put W for week, so weekly 10 EMA. All right. And then I'll put Elon. And I'll put Wyckoff, if I could spell it. I don't know, whatever. First pump. So first pump off the lows, okay? So now we know what each of these represent. Maybe I can move them out of the way so they're not so confusing. Look in the very recent past. Remember when I did my video about Humpty Dumpty and I was yelling and screaming at, like I got loud on my videos, trying to really warn people, this smells like a trap. And in that video, I made the 45-degree angle saying, no, I think this is going to simply make a lower high. Because of the signature, that price got specifically above the weekly 10 EMA. And I said, in order to get above the EMA and stay in downtrends, specific, not in uptrends, but specific to downtrends, there are very few exceptions to the rule of thumb. You have to blast through it. It's that freaking simple. There are very, very few exceptions. And one of those exceptions is very early 2019 when Bitcoin had already put in months down there after a capitulation. So that was one exception, but there are very few. In a downtrend, the only way to get above and stay above the weekly 10, and again, I'm on the hourly chart, but we can still see it, is to fly above it. We got that. And we didn't get it here, and we didn't get it here. And at this point, when Bitcoin had gone up to 45K this first time, the monthly 10 and the weekly 10 were together. So you had a lot of resistance. And where did price end up wicking up? To our theft line, to our, Wyckoff line. Exactly up to it. But this was the overall resistance, but the wick resistance, the wicks simply could not get past that line. So we have essentially, right now, the same exact things in play. We have the bottom of this channel, of the point of control of the tilted range. We have these 2 EMAs, but the setup is slightly different. As of now, the monthly 10 is rejecting price, but the interesting thing is the reason why price is very, very likely not just going to fall off a cliff. I am not short-term, like I would not be shorting into this unless I were taking a short at the monthly 10 and I plan to close it down here, which I guess that might be tradable. Yeah, that'd be tradable. That'd be a 5% price and raw move. So I think it's a little too late to do that at this point. But if you're day trading, you could probably swing, or if you're at your computer at least 3 hours a day, you could probably manage to trade like that. However, I don't think, I think that capitulation is, here, let me, most of you know that I think capitulation could be imminent, right? Capitulation could happen anytime, but I don't think it's going to happen quite yet within the next, let's say, 2 days for the following reason. And that reason is because it flew above the weekly 10 EMA, I think it's going to come down to test it. And then it'll come back up to the monthly 10. And if it gets rejected by the monthly 10 again, then I think you could slowly leak back down to the monthly 10 and then capitulate. But that would take several days. Let me show you an example of what I'm saying. Let's say that this in general is the monthly 10. And I'll make that red. And this over here in general is the monthly 10. So weekly 10, monthly 10. If price really does get rejected by this monthly 10 up here, right? I think that price will, from now, if I could stop drawing stupid things on my chart, I think that price will come down here, maybe even wick below, come straight back up, not use it as resistance, test the monthly 10 one more time like that, and then once it comes below the weekly 10 EMA, use it as resistance, and then you could capitulate. But look what date that would be. That would put you out at March 4th. That would be 3 days away. Therefore, because of the motion and momentum above the weekly 10, I do not see capitulation and a strong down move happening for the next couple of days, specific to the way price got above the weekly 10, okay? And I want to be very clear about that because my last few videos have been trying to warn folks that capitulation could happen at any moment, and on the short-term time. So I have not changed my mind on that, and neither really should you. from a midterm time frame standpoint. But within the next couple of days, my short-term expectations have absolutely changed that it's extremely improbable that we'll get a capitulation within a short-term time frame. All right, and okay, that's option number one. We do end up getting rejected here, and if that happens, we're probably going to go sideways, chop around for a couple of days, maybe, and then March 4th, it starts getting nasty at that time. However, it's not guaranteed that this white line is going to be the rejection point. If price is going to, in fact, come up and hit the Wyckoff first pump line, I think you could get something like this. It's going to come back. It's going to test the weekly 10 down here. First off, that's, you could bet your bottom dollar it's going to hit it. Like it's probably close to an 80% chance that price will come back down to touch that line exactly, or lower. It could wick past, close a couple hour candles down there, but I don't think it's just going to fall off face cliffs. But you could bet that target's going to be hit. And honestly, I don't like to bet people because I don't gamble. I would prefer to trade with an edge. God, I would love for somebody to make that bet against me, because I would definitely, I would strongly consider taking it, even though I don't like to bet. The last bet I took was somebody. It was back in 2017, but it was a 4-year bet. My friend said Bitcoin's gonna go to zero, and I was like, I bet you Bitcoin will be back over 20K by this exact day on January 1st. What year? 2021. That was the bet. And 4 years later, I won the bet. Bitcoin, it actually looked like it wasn't going to get up there, but in the last few days of the year, it screamed up to 28K. So I won a $500 bet. But it took 4 years to complete. That's the last bet I've ever really made. Anyway, here we go. So it's not guaranteed that the monthly 10 EMA will act as resistance. It's possible that this the bottom of the point of control could act as resistance. In that case, even if that were the case, I think price will first check the 10, come back up, and I'm not drawing this right. It'll come down here, maybe bounce twice, maybe wick below it. If it does, it'll come straight above. But I think it's going to come up and consolidate under the monthly 10 and then hit that. So I would have to draw out the monthly 10, something like that. That would be the first most likely case that I would see for if this line right here, the first blue line, were to be the ultimate resistance before a significant pullback. There would be a second way I could see price moving in that case as well. I could see price coming down here, making a series of higher lows and doing a bullish consolidation like this, and then fly above, hit the line, then use this as support. I would say that's a little less likely in the event that this becomes the Wyckoff first pump line becomes the ultimate resistance before a major pullback, but that is reasonable as well. And the third major scenario is if this line up here, closer to 48K, so this is almost 48K like even. If that were to be the case, I think price first would have to hit the weekly 10. It's either going to have to use this line or that line as support first. I don't see it going like this. And in this case, this price action did not use the monthly 10 as support, and it did not use this line as support. Even though it's possible, I would say it's less than 10. I think it's single digits probability that you'll see a formation like this without any support on top of the monthly 10, the white line, or support here first. Therefore, if 48K is going to be the ultimate, place for Bitcoin price to go before a pullback, I still see the weekly 10 hitting either way. And you're either going to get support up here, then hit it, or the second one is you're going to come down here, same type of thing. You're going to consolidate under, use this as support, and then hit it. And I'll make that a different color. Something to that effect. So in this case, the yellow does not use the monthly 10 as support, but it does use the blue line as support. And opposite of that, the blue line does not use this Wyckoff first pump resistance line as support, but rather it uses the monthly 10. And that's in the case that Bitcoin will stop its run momentarily at 48K. So the three boxes of interest here for when does this run end is one is at 48K. And again, I have this posted on Twitter, but I'm going into more detail. Two, somewhere around 46. So this is 48, this is 46. And then the third most probable is it is now. Like it might come up and wick up here again, but those are the three most likely scenarios of where Bitcoin's going to go before a pullback. 48K, 46K, and then current price, like 44.6 was the height before a pull back down to here, like down to, maybe even back down to 40K, most likely. And that would be your Bitcoin analysis. Let's go take a look at Ethereum real quick. Okay, what is Ethereum getting rejected by? Look at this, folks. Look, it's the same stuff. Look, zoom out, watch. What is this area here? The point of control of the tilted range. Same as Bitcoin. What's that? The monthly 10. What's that? The weekly 10. What did Ethereum get stopped by? Exactly. All three touching the exact same point. Is that a coincidence? No. And could this be a fake out to the upside? Yes, it absolutely could be a mini bull trap, because when two or more important lines cross, price, whether price is currently above it or below it, doesn't matter. Price gets sucked in to those important cross intersections. And again, price could either be on top and it gets sucked down into important cross, or if price is below it, like current was, price of Ethereum got sucked into that. And then price just starts going back down. That's easily what could be happening. Now, honestly, I didn't, in my video that I made today with the really interesting thumbnail that says your TA sucks, I didn't look at Ethereum first. I actually might change my order of my most probables. I would put that right now, the current height of Bitcoin, I would say that that's the second most probable scenario that we will indeed get a pullback after like current price, like right now was the height. I would say that's the second most probable because of Ethereum. Typically, if Ethereum has a major obstacle to overcome, Bitcoin will not keep racing up and just like pull it through it. You need Bitcoin and Ethereum to kind of be on par. They're very close to being on par with each other, but this is a very strong resistance right here. So going back to Bitcoin, and that's right at 3,000 and change, like 3030. Therefore, on my Bitcoin analysis, I would say the first most probable where this run will stop is the Wyckoff box, somewhere around 45,800. That would be my first guess. My second guess is now that this was the height that's not going any higher. My third guess would be my Elon line up closer to 48K. So I will change the order of those. In that video, I didn't look at Ethereum, and Ethereum definitely does influence Bitcoin price in specific regard to how market makers are making choices. And because retail is not pushing Bitcoin and Ethereum anymore, it's absolutely hedge funds and traditional market trading desks, which are also linked up to Nasdaq. Specifically, it's those trading desks that are leading the elite, like 5-minute through 1 hour candles on both Bitcoin and Ethereum. Yep, that would be my analysis. And again, this cross historically is not very good, folks. I mean, take a look. So again, this is going to be midterm time frame bearish. What I'm about, let me be very clear. The cross that I'm going to show you are large EMAs. Therefore, the effect will take time. So when I say kablam or drop about the following things, that doesn't mean next hour or even tomorrow or even this week. But it does mean you should be concerned about it within the scope of weeks, or even within 14 days or 10 days, with the potential it could happen tomorrow. But the effect likely will take slightly more time then. Does that make sense? All right. Let's take off price. Look at this cross. And again, this is two different time frames. The weekly 10 going below the monthly 10. Historically, has that been good or bad? There's all three. This is the fourth time it's happened. Look at what's happened all three times. Watch. Bad, bad, super bad. That was the capitulation one. The capitulation happened right at that. You see that? Kablam. You see why I'm trying to warn people capitulation could be imminent. It's the same cross. It's been bad every time. Like, And you know, but I am not short-term time frame bearish yet, for the reasons I stated at the beginning of this live stream. The force with which Bitcoin price went above the weekly 10, it's not just going to turn around on a dime. It could, but it's extremely improbable. It's going to bounce around, lose steam, and then roll over, and it's going to take at least 2 days, very, very likely. Okay, all right. But in the midterm sense, like at the end of this week and leading into the second week of March, you better freaking be concerned. 100% hit rate, even though there are only 3 sample sizes, something different could happen, absolutely. But still, it's bad. Super bad. There's nothing good about this, okay, from a midterm. Although I'm short-term time frame, not bearish, all right? Cool. I think that's my analysis on the market right now. And if, you know, folks, for my Discord, I typically pull up a little bit more information in specific regard to, you know, if somebody's in a live chat with me and they can ask me questions directly to my face. So you don't have to type if you're in the Discord, right? You don't have to pay to ask questions or whatever. People sometimes turn on their camera to talk to me, but usually most of them just use their voice and ask me questions. And then they're looking at my chart as they're asking the questions. They'll say, hey, I'm holding this coin. Here's where I bought it. You know, if you're selling into this rally, you know, what would you do if you were in my position? And then I look at that chart and I give them my heads up. But I'm not going to go that deep in analysis, you know, for the altcoins you cover, you know, the general questions. So just a heads up there, that's more for what the Discord community is for. But when you ask these questions about whatever altcoins, I will give you general, you know, my thoughts on key levels. But I won't necessarily put in specific buy and sell strategies or anything to that effect. Okay. All right. So let's. Okay, Mike. Okay, so Mike threw out a super chat to him. I'm going to answer his first. Mike, I'm going to, you need to go to my Discord, follow the link, and even before you sign up, you know, without paying any money, so just follow the link, you know, make a username or whatever. Let me put on my, so to you, Mike, since you did like a $10 super chat, that's the cost of the first tier for a whole month. So I want to give you a coupon to just have access to the Cryptillion tier for a month. And if you can't use it because you don't have time, that's fine. But I want you to have that. And when you go to the Discord, you know, to the, yeah, because you can see some limited things without having signed up and paid or, you know, all that kind of stuff. You can see something to the effect of help or, you know, customer service or something like that on the side. Go there. And the person who will respond to whatever inquiry that you put within that channel, his name is Blake. He's my admin. He'll give you a coupon for the month of for 30 days. It's not like Patreon where it starts on a certain day in the month. All right, so make sure you go there and whenever you have time to do that, and that's the way we'll get that done for you. And again, without having signed up or paid or done anything special, you can have access to that one channel to ask that question and let them know that's who you are. All right. And if I get other people on there trying to act like you, we'll figure it out later. Okay, so sold Trias at the monthly 10. Okay, so let's go to Trias. I'm going to look at Trias versus BTC first. Give me a quick second here. I don't want to neglect this. Okay, so that doesn't look very good. That looks okay. I like the higher low structure. Ugh, that's not good. Ugh, no, that's not good. Ugh, no. Okay, so that's not very good. It doesn't look like it's going to make gains, sustainable gains versus Bitcoin anytime soon. Okay. All right. Because when Trias both goes up and makes gains versus Bitcoin, that's when you get your big pops like this one. It's when it's gaining versus the dollar and versus Bitcoin while Bitcoin goes up. That means double gains for an altcoin. All right. So your monthly 10, where would you recommend a buyback at the intention of selling it again when we hit the monthly 10? Okay, so just a range with the monthly 10. Okay. All right. No, that's a really good question. It looks like you're really studying the charts a lot, and I will take off these EMAs, put on the monthly 10, weekly 10, boom. Okay. Let me make my monthly 10 white. Okay, well, I wouldn't buy back at the weekly 10 because these are too close together, and it's gonna come down and hit. It's probably gonna hit this line. If it comes all the way up to the weekly 10, it's at least gonna hit 550. Yeah, that's a pretty big move, man. I don't know if I see it going up 40% from current price because it's already gone up 30. Yeah, I don't see it getting up there. Ah. Now, unless your trade though, so if you're planning on selling at the monthly 10, it simply might just take some time because this monthly 10 on the 1 hour, it can start squeezing down here. So I guess it could just go sideways, and you might have to wait about 5 days for it to hit that. But I don't see it getting up there quickly. Is what I want to specify. That could be a perfectly good plan, particular to the fact that that might be a swing trade. However, I would more focus my eyes on this horizontal here. So let me kind of change sorry, I'm kind of changing your question for you, but I would be targeting somewhere closer to like 550, 560. That's a pretty big horizontal right there. And then I would look for a buyback somewhere maybe around this wick low. So I would do something like this. And this would be similar to my Silo Trading Challenge series, and I have a playlist for that if y'all want to see that. It actually worked out way better than I thought it. It's actually, the price points were perfect. It all worked, and after that series was over, after 4 videos, like, whew! Not only did it work, but it worked perfectly, like near almost picture perfect. So kind of like my Silo Trading Challenge I did, I would look to sell into this line, buy a pullback. Probably somewhere under the 1 hour 200, and then I would look for the move up to the weekly 10. Or the weekly 10 and the monthly 10. I mean, look, they're together. I mean, they are touching. So by that time, these lines probably will have gone closer to this area, and that would probably be my game plan. Now, where would I buy back for? And again, I'm sorry if I messed up your question because I am changing the premise of your question. Hopefully you're okay with that for now. The 1 hour, so a buyback for that, when I'm looking for a small pullback on an altcoin, I typically buy back somewhere between 16 to 24% dip. That's just how volatile altcoins are. And a lot of times that aligns with the 1 hour 200. So, I mean, it could go something like this. Yeah, the 1 hour 200 EMA could be like that. And that would be a wick, simple wick below the 1 hour 200. And watch, this might magically align with somewhere between, what should be way off? I don't know. But the way I drew it, I typically like to buy, if I think it's a bullish move and it's simply a pullback, altcoins I like 18 to 24%. Nope, not quite. It's only 12%. But I would still probably do it around 12%. Yeah, I'd probably do it around that point. So 12% pullback, try it again. And I would look for wicks under the 1 hour 200. Something to, even though here it really does respect that 1 hour 200 pretty carefully. Actually, it respects it a lot. So I would be looking for a wick like this. So orange line, a wick below, and a wick below. I'd be looking for not a huge dump below, but I would definitely try to snag it under that line. However, with the warning that you might have to cancel those limit buys and buy it as it's bouncing off of it, because Trias does have the habit of perfectly respecting that line. And again, to everybody else out there, the reason why the 1 hour 200 EMA works across, it works for Bitcoin too. I mean, it's just awesome. The reason why it's such a powerful EMA is because it typically aligns very closely to the 1 day 10 EMA, probably the third or fourth most powerful EMA out of any asset. Doesn't matter if it's NASDAQ Composite or Amazon stock itself or oil. The daily 10 is very important. Right? And the 1 hour 200 EMA is very in line with that almost always per math, right? But you can see 24 candles and you can see how they're bumping their head on it or using as support instead of just viewing a wick of the day. So it simply gives you way more data than a wick with a candle body. And so I use the 1 hour chart almost as if it were the daily, but I can consider, is it getting rejected by the daily 10 or is it using it as support because I'm on the 1 hour chart but thinking with a 1 day mentality. Does that make sense? That line is really special, and that could really change. It could that little tip right there could drastically change how you view crypto, especially if you're trading more than twice a week. If you're doing buys and sells fewer than once every 2 weeks, that might not be your line. You might deal that might not be your line to focus on. But if you buy and sell, hit buy and or sell, like just 2 clicks total, like within a week to 10 days on average, that's a line you should really, really stare at. All right. And I'm not talking about day trading. I'm talking about you come home from work and you're looking, Trias went up, so I want to sell or whatever. When do I buy back? I'm home from work. I have 1 hour to look at the charts before I, wipe, clean poopy diapers or whatever. That's a good line to look at. I'll do it right after this. Okay. So buyback weekly. So price point. No, I don't know if I'd give a price point. I would give a pullback point. So I would say a 10 to 15% pullback into the 1 hour 200. But remember, my analysis on Bitcoin, so on Trias, this line might not be hit. Oh, you already sold your monthly. Oh, I'm so sorry. How did you sell it at the monthly? That doesn't make any sense. How did you sell? I don't know how you could have sold at the monthly 10. 5. Maybe I'm misunderstanding your question, man. Yeah, that's the monthly 10's way up here. So, but if you've already sold, let's see here. I mean, I would either, okay, so since you already sold, a buyback point would be the 1 hour 200 or this horizontal back here at 446. I would try to get it sooner than later because I don't think Bitcoin has a strong chance of being bearish in the short-term sense. But what if you did buy back at some at this line, somewhere around 465 and some at 446? So $4.65 or 446, somewhere between those two lines, maybe even half and half. If you were to do that, just know that Bitcoin isn't at risk of falling off a cliff. But what might happen is that all you get out of it is chop. Before it actually moves down. So that's your risk level because of what Bitcoin might do. However, you would still, even if you were to go in here and buy back around this point, around 460 and 440, you'll still have time to gauge, will it come up to that next resistance, and you'll be able to dump it on one of the, like a 15-minute oscillation to the upside. And then get out before it potentially rolls over. Just know that that is a possible price pattern if my second most probable situation for Bitcoin happens. But I still think my first most probable situation for Bitcoin, it would take Trias up to about 560. Therefore, I would try to buy back at 465 and 445, somewhere around there. All right. Sorry, I didn't see that you said you sold. I should have read the question better, but there you go. All right. BTC hits its monthly 10. Right. I think I answered your question. I think you got it. Let me know if you got it. All right. I am Italian. Non parlo italiano. Right. Yeah. Bitcoin and Ethereum need to sort themselves out. That means they have different obstacles, and they need to have the same obstacles in this generally. Oh fuck. Why did somebody tell me I was on the wrong time frame here? Or I was on the wrong screen. Here's the resistance. I don't know how long my face was big, but here's the resistance at 555. That would be my sell target. Where I'd pick it up is somewhere around the 1 hour 200, somewhere between there and this horizontal here. If I were Mike, if I had already sold, I'm looking to buy back. I would try to catch it between here and there and sell it first up at this point. And that would be my goal, buyback, and then I would look for a stronger potential move up to the monthly 10 up here. However, with my face big, what I was describing was, if he were to catch it down here, because Bitcoin might be petering out over the next 2 days, he might just find himself in some chop with that position. something to that effect, and it just starts rolling over after that. But even in that case, because Bitcoin is not at risk of, in my opinion, capitulating within the next 2 days, I think he would still be able to safely get out of his position before it rolls over if Bitcoin cannot take the next leg up. So I think statistically probable worst case scenario is this, but you still have time to sell at a small profit before it turns over. And that would be a very most likely price path in the event that Trias does not make it up to this next horizontal at 560. All right. Okay, cool. Here we go. Solana price. Yeah, I like looking at Solana. We'll take a look. And again, like I was talking, so I'm on the 1 hour 200. I mean, just look what much even Solana respects this line. Boom, boom, boom. Below it, accelerates. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Gets above it, use that support. Gets above, failed it. Resistance, 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 resistance. Like it's a really good line because it's essentially the daily 10. All right. Well, I think it's a pretty easy read on Solana right now. You have a lot of important things happening all at the same place, so the analysis should be fairly simple for this. You should probably take the local high at February 7th and draw a box from there to where the weekly 10 is now. Okay, maybe not make your box that color so you can't see through it. Let's go like that. There you go. And I would say this... As long as, let me take off price, as long as this orange line, or the 1 hour 200, is not used as resistance, okay, as long as price is above it, then price is extremely likely to hit this green box until the point price goes below and stays below. Like it uses this as resistance. Like, you know, if it were to go below, that's not bad. It can easily wick below. But if it goes like this, that's using it as resistance. That's when this green box it starts becoming out of question. But until you get a signature like so under the 1 hour 200, I would say that anywhere between 109 or 110 to 120 is going to be hit. And if Bitcoin does turn around quickly, you will see just that on Solana. You'll be able to see Solana go below the 1 hour 200 and use it as resistance, and then you know, oh shit, it's not going up anymore. This is probably not going to happen, and you can get out of your position before it rolls over. I think that's really all you need. A box between 110 and 120, and then your 1 hour 200, and then maybe throw in your weekly 10. Weekly 10, 1 hour 200 box. That's it. But right now, it does look like, it wants to get up. It looks like it's going to hit its head on 110 bare minimum. Or 10, I would say 109. I would strongly guess it'll hit 109 first. Yeah, 108.70, something to that effect. Somewhere around that point. It looks pretty probable at this point. But I wouldn't be surprised if it went up to 120 either, because a lot of times when you try to get above massive EMAs like the weekly 10, you do wick above. And that would specifically hit this horizontal back here. So two important lines crossing. A horizontal, even though that's not a super important line. This horizontal is not super important, but it is fairly important. And you have the second line, the EMA crossing. Price could simply be sucked into it to test it. So I would not be surprised by 120, and I wouldn't be surprised somewhere in the middle either. But I do think it looks, at this point, pretty probable that 109 will be hit. And before it happens, price might come all the way down to $91. So it looks like price is going to hit this line first. And then I could see it hit 91 or 109. That would be my guess for the price path of Solana over the next 2 days. Now, what happens after 2 days, I'm not going to make that guess because the market could really turn around in 2 days. My short-term time frame guesstimates and analysis could it could change it really drastically, especially since there is an authoritarian leader out there. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want to get in trouble by YouTube. Because last time I mentioned stuff like the C word and like YouTube, it shut down my live stream like 30 seconds later. Anyway, there's an authoritarian leader out there who is not winning a battle as he very likely predicted, and that could cause a stronger reaction on his part, and that would probably turn the market sour. Like this could be a calm before the storm, folks. So just keep that. And I definitely don't wish that upon anybody. Absolutely not. But in terms of market, so we're staying strict to the charts. That could be a big play of the charts, and it could happen soon. So you might want to keep your eye out on the news. And again, I really don't hope anything similar to what I just guessed is possible happens. I don't hope for that at all. At all. Okay. All right, let's fire away. Luna. That's pretty surprising. I don't think it can go up much higher because it needs to test. It hasn't used the 4-hour 200 as support yet. It used it as resistance, made a higher low, and went above the orange line, which is the 4-hour 200. But unless you're in a raging bull market, which we're not, you don't scream above this line and not use it as support first. So, but when you do scream above it without using this as support, so it didn't respect the line, you come back down to test it. Now, do you have to fly back down to test it? Absolutely not. It could look like something, it could go something like this. And the orange line, it can wait for it and then really quickly wick down. It could do something like that, especially in strong moves outside of a bull market. But I still think that it'll hit that orange line. Exactly. Like it'll hit it. It might go slightly below it, but it's very, very likely gonna hit it. But it doesn't mean Luna has to crash like this, like straight down to $62. I actually don't see that happening. I think it might chop sideways, maybe squeak out one more high, higher high, and then go sideways, and then have a quick wick down with a Bitcoin weakness, and then assuming Bitcoin recovers from whatever stimulus that was, Luna could easily then blast off. So I think to answer your question specifically, a channel member, who was that? Somebody. Oh gosh, I didn't see which YouTube channel member asked that, but I could see Luna wicking up to $100 again before it hits this. Let me look at the. Oh yeah, and that would just be one more. So on the 4-hour RSI, that would just be one more gasp of air like that before it finally gets rejected. And when so most people know who follow my channel, on the 4-hour time frame and higher, if the RSI even bumps its head on the green zone, that almost always means higher high in price, as long as it's within the same move, right? Within the same move. And not being in the same move means it's already gone down 30% and comes back up. No, not in that case. But as long as it hasn't fully corrected yet, it's in the same move. But the RSI itself is waning. If it just comes right up and bumps its head, that means a higher high in price, which that would be $100. And that would probably be, this would probably be the signature on the 4-hour RSI that you get as price hits $100 right there. And that could happen in 2 days. So all that price path, or the RSI path, that means it could happen in a couple days, or a day and a half, or tomorrow. So between 1 to 2 days is what I would say. But yeah, it could easily hit $100. Something to this effect. I kind of stretched that out a little bit too much, but you see what I'm saying. Something like that. That could easily happen. Should be able to see my chart. I only left my face big once. Sorry. All right, look at Luna on the weekly. Let's see here. Yeah, I still think that it's got to calm down and hit the four. It's not a raging bull. Oh, yeah, look at the weekly. That could easily get rejected from here. So on the weekly scale, it's probably going to come back down, maybe make a higher low, and then start a major run. But its first wick up to this moving RSI, the EMA of the RSI. This is probably going to have a pullback pretty soon. But then again, sometimes it gets rejected by this point instead of the EMA, so that could be $105, and then it makes higher lows, cools off the next week. So $100 to $105 would be my guess. All right, let's go ahead and make sure I'm not missing any. They need to sort themselves out. All right. Somebody let me know if you can see my chart. You should be able to see it, but okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin real quick here, see if anything is moving. Nope, nothing moving yet. Still between your monthly 10 and your 10 EMA, weekly 10 EMA. And I have the strong opinion that before price gets up to 45,800, I think it's going to wick down to hit the weekly 10. Now, it might wait to do that. The weekly 10 might crawl up and, Bitcoin price might not go below 42.9 in its efforts to do that. But I simply think this line will be hit before it tries to get back above the monthly 10. So it's moving back up, but I don't see that getting a breakout because it has not tested this on the lower time frames. Ethereum, same deal. Let's check out XRP. Guess what? EMA's XRP's also using the same ones. Monthly 10, weekly 10. It's stuck between them. It's stuck between the same two EMAs as Bitcoin, but Ethereum's under both of them. However, Ethereum technically is a little stronger than XRP because Ethereum's weekly 10 is not, it's at its monthly 10, and XRP has technically gone down farther and harder than Ethereum. So XRP has been bleeding against Ethereum because Ethereum's weekly 10 has not dived below the monthly 10. So this is technically more bearish from an EMA setup. However, in the very short-term time frames, XRP is above its weekly 10 while Ethereum's not. But Ethereum's weekly 10 is not that far below its monthly 10. So shorter time frame, more bullish for XRP. But I think it's really obviously going to depend on Bitcoin. But you have the same two EMAs. I'm on the 1 hour chart. The range for XRP is probably somewhere between 83.5 and 76.3. And it's probably going to bounce around those points for the next couple days. If Bitcoin made a move up to the 45.8 level, I could see XRP hitting a horizontal of that local high set back on February 9th. So I would make a little box here. And that would be the level that XRP very likely hits if Bitcoin hits, if BTC at 45,900 or so. Oop. There you go. But if Bitcoin does not hit that level, XRP is not going to hit there. And that would be somewhere closer to 90 cents. KDA? Sure. So it's monthly 10. Ooh, be careful with this. This is, I mean, sometimes you get weird reactions on coins when a super important EMA just comes into existence. And look at that. I'm going to click the monthly 10. Off, on, off, on. I'll try not to forget to make my face small again once I go back to the charts. During both the altcoin run, okay, of February to April, and slightly thereafter, as things were chopping around with Wyckoff, I saw multiple times a coin that moved very closely with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin up, then this coin up, right? Like that type of situation, which is pretty typical. However, once its daily 200 EMA came into existence, okay, because the coin had been released, it was only 190 days old. And once it became 200 days old, and that 200 EMA came in, it only was a dot, right? Because it's only a few hours old. For whatever reason, the TA, or the price action of that coin, totally changed. Because the bots trading it now had an extra piece of data, and it drove price to that level to check it first. I'm telling you, I've seen it happen. Will it happen on KDA? I don't know. But just be aware, I've seen it happen time after time. Now, those were likely more unsophisticated bots. I think KDA probably has more sophisticated, it has a lot of dumb, more retail bots as well. But there might be smarter bots in on this on KDA because it's a little bit bigger deal than a lot of altcoins. But just be aware that the monthly 10 did just come into existence, and I've seen weird shit happen. Like, it could easily come down to it when it's not supposed to. Okay, like, quote unquote, not supposed to. Just be aware. That's this right here. This is the monthly 10 being in existence for 18 hours. Heads up. So you could get a very unexpected move down to $5.72. Does it have to happen? No. I simply want to warn you. All right. Well, right now it's getting rejected by its weekly 10 EMA. It doesn't look bad. It looks like it wants to get on top of it. What's your question about KDA, though? I would say if Bitcoin can hit... Yeah, I think if Bitcoin can go up to the 48K level, that KDA would come up here. So $10 only if Bitcoin gets up to 48K on a wick, and if Bitcoin gets up to the other... So this box right here, this green box, if it stops at this green box at 45.8, under that condition, KDA will hit somewhere closer to 9. So $9 or $10, depending on where Bitcoin goes, would be my thing, my analysis for that. And I would, if you're looking to have a buyback on this before that potential move up, I don't know if I would try to get some now, because it looks like it wants to wait for this 1 hour 200 to come up. So I don't know if it's an exact price point, because it could wait for it to get there. But if you could just keep your 1 hour 200 EMA on, if you were to see it hit that might be, you could find, and again, this is not financial advice, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm telling you my thoughts, and you could do with it, make your own responsible adult decisions based off that, but off of my ideas only. I personally, if I wanted to pick up KDA on a personal level, I would wait till it hits that, and then I would probably sell into a rally at $9. That would be my game plan. So if you want to visualize it, something like that, then there, which means the 1 hour 200 EMA will go like that. I didn't draw that very well, but I think you get the point. Something like that. Yeah, it could be a pretty nice move above its weekly 10. This is not looking very bad. But the last time it got above the 1 hour 200 EMA, what did it do? It just fell right through it. So heads up. Just because it's above the 1 hour 200 EMA does not mean it's guaranteed to hold support there. All right? And so the key signature is this. Look. This is what you're looking for. Here, let me switch the arrow. If you see KDA fall through the orange line and the next 2 candle wicks of the 1 hour use it as resistance, that's kind of your get out point. That's your confirmation that shit, it's not just going to bounce back up. Typically, if you're going to wick below something, if you get it back above it, your next candles, within 2 candles, you won't have any resistance. Sometimes the first one will be resistance, but if the first one's resistance, the second 1 hour will blast back above. Or close just above. Something like, like this candle would have gone like this. And that would be your signature to get out. But I wouldn't be overly scared if it came below the orange line on current price. But I would be scared if you get that resistance and another resistance, I would get the hell out. But I would wait for 2 1 hour candles below it, personally. Yeah, KD is an interesting project. All right. If BTC retits the weekly 10, where will VRA go? So if it rehits it, you said retits. I like retits better. I mean, we could leave it like that. Maybe Bitcoin will titify its weekly 10. So if it rehits its weekly 10, okay, good. So that means you're paying attention to what I'm saying, which I think it's an extremely safe bet at this time. Where will VRA go? I don't know if I want to say this on YouTube live because this is one of our favorite coins in the community. Well, I already have the line here, so screw it. I think it would wait. I think VRA will not scream down to its 1 hour 200. I think it'll wait till the 1 hour 200 gets up to this line. So I would say 0.228. Somewhere around there. Yeah, I specifically don't think that VRA will scream down to its 1 hour 200, rather wait for it to come up. So I would say something like that, somewhere around tomorrow or March 3rd. March 2nd or March... Yeah, actually, I would guess March 2nd. Specifically March 2nd at that level. Now, again, it could break lower. Because I've been saying that Bitcoin over the next 48 hours is probably going to chop. Even if it ends up failing and doesn't get up to 45,800, I don't think it's going to fly down. But if VRA is going to that line that I just told you, after that 2-day period, and then Bitcoin starts going down, VRA will tank below that horizontal I just gave you. So you have to keep an eye on Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin going to find support and bounce from that weekly 10? You got to look at both, right? Yeah. But that if both Bitcoin and VRA were to bounce, I would say that would be my point. But it's definitely not guaranteed to bounce. I cannot be, hopefully I'm being super specific with what I'm saying. All right. Literal reading. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, have you checked out KuCoin community chain projects? No, So somebody's asking if I checked out Moji Swap. It doesn't look like spam, that person's question. So brokish. No, I don't really research coins much anymore. If Bitcoin starts capitulating down to the targets that I have, like sub 25K, as altcoins continue to bleed slowly as Bitcoin recovers itself. So it'd probably take it might not take a couple months. Actually, Bitcoin could have a V-shaped correction if it capitulates. It could be just like coronavirus, actually. It actually could be very V-shaped. But I would probably start picking a few coins. But right now, I think I got my idea set. Like, I'm more interested in getting veracity, into my portfolio than maybe anything. I'll stick to my, the coin that I started off the channel with BPro. I'm interested in acquiring BPro, but for a mid-cap pick, veracity is going to be my deal. But I'm considering BPro more of a small cap, so largest small cap. Among small caps, it's larger, but it's still a small cap. But yeah, I don't really check out projects. I think I have the projects I want. Now, once Bitcoin makes all-time highs and closes a week above 70K, I will probably start taking profits and then start researching the hell out of newer stuff that hasn't pumped yet. All right. Yeah, I would go with personally. I would favor VRA in terms of if I could only pick one, I would pick VRA over MTV. But that doesn't mean you have to. You might. I don't know much about MTV, and I don't want my ignorance on the matter. And so defining ignorance as my lack of knowledge, I definitely don't want you to say, "Oh, Costas likes VRA over MTV." Me too. No, if you know more about MTV and you have a good reason to be bullish about it, you should choose that over VRA. Don't just take my freaking word for it. I mean, my best single trade, swing trade out of all of 2021 was with MTV. From my exact buy to exact sell was 36x. So I mean, I kind of am. It's a fan favorite for me, or I mean, it's a kind of a personal favorite. MTV, it's getting rejected by the same stuff as Bitcoin. So same deal. If Bitcoin gets rejected by its next level up at 45.8, MTV will probably come up somewhere close to a penny, just over. It'll wick above a penny. If Bitcoin charges all the way up to 48K, then MTV is going to hit 1.2 cents. If Bitcoin starts rolling over now, then the best that MTV will do is wick up one more time to the monthly 10, somewhere closer to 0.00956. 0.00955, probably somewhere around there. Those would be my three levels. All right, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. You're welcome, Brokish. You're welcome. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody's. Okay, can you hear you? What's up? Let's see here. All right, yeah. Thanks everybody for being here every Tuesday and Thursday, 10:30 a.m. Again, Mike, make sure you go to my Discord since you sent a super chat. You're gonna get a coupon, and Blake, I believe it's. I think his username and response should have Blake within it. I don't know his exact username. Probably should, but so just go to the help or the what you'll see which channel it is where to get help out of the very few channels you have access to as a new person who's not signed up, and just go let them know you're Mike to get a coupon for a month. And everybody else, we will see you on Thursday at 10:30 a.m. New York time. Talk to you next time.